Just beyond the glitz and glamour of Hollywood Boulevard, nestled between the flashing billboards and crowded sidewalks, stands a hotel that has witnessed nearly a century of secrets, stars, and something far more chilling than the silver screen has ever dared to show. This is the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, a place where the spirits of old Hollywood never left, and some may say, never had a choice. Welcome to Echoes of the Past, where we pull back the curtain on history's most haunted and harrowing locations. I'm Rob, and I will be your host for this evening. Today, we are going to go into a journey into one of the most iconic and paranormally charged landmarks in Los Angeles, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. Here on the Friday Night Campfire Stories YouTube page, we explore the dark, mysterious, and downright creepiness each and every day. So if you haven't, be sure to hit that subscribe button and join the campfire today. Now, let's enter the doors of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. The Hollywood Roosevelt opened its doors on May 15, 1927, just as the golden age of cinema was beginning to rise. Built for $2.5 million, an incredible sum at the time, the hotel was funded by some of the most powerful figures in early Hollywood: Douglas Fairbanks, Mary Pickford, and Sid Grauman. It was more than just a place to sleep. It was a palace for the elite. Celebrities like Clark Gable, Carole Lombard, and Shirley Temple once walked these marble floors. And in 1929, the hotel hosted the very first Academy Awards in its Blossom Ballroom. Only 270 guests attended, a far cry from the star-studded spectacle that we see today. But before the flashing cameras and the red carpets, this land had quieter stories, one that predates the film industry itself. Before Hollywood became the heart of cinema, it was farmland, orange groves, dirt roads, and quiet landscape that seemed worlds away from the bustling industry that would soon consume it. The hotel was designed in the Spanish colonial revival style: arched doorways, ornate wrought iron details, and hand-painted ceilings. It's beautiful, but it's also heavy. Heavy with history, energy, and some believe, residual spirits. Many paranormal investigators believe the design of the building can act like a spiritual battery. Stone, metal, wood, all capable of soaking up emotions, trauma, and memory. And here, there is no shortage of it. But not all memories are beautiful. As the decades rolled on, the Roosevelt saw its share of tragedy, decline, and darkness. The Roosevelt wasn't just a place to be seen. It was the center of everything. Backroom deals, secret romances, wild parties that ran long after the camera stopped rolling. It was where Hollywood royalty let their guard down. But with fame comes pressure, and with pressure comes cracks. As the years passed, the glitter began to fade. The once booming hotel faced economic downturns, competition from newer, luxury spots, and the ever-changing tides of the entertainment world. By the 1950s, the Roosevelt had slipped from its golden pedestal. Ceilings were painted over, elegant murals hidden. Even the famous Blossom Ballroom, home of the first Oscars, was nearly forgotten. But beneath the faded glamour, something else began to take root. Something far less glamorous. Like many old buildings, the Roosevelt had witnessed its share of sorrow. One of the earliest recorded tragedies was in 1929, just 2 years after the hotel opened. A man named Frank Wyman Libby checked into his room and never checked out. His death was ruled a suicide, and his wasn't the last one. Over the decades, there were rumors of overdoses, heart attack-fueled deaths, and nervous breakdowns hidden behind closed doors. Some say the hotel served as a sanctuary for the broken, a place where faded stars sought privacy and sometimes found despair. It's easy to forget that behind every famous face is a human story, a private battle, and some of those battles left their marks. Many believe trauma can linger, imprinted into places like a fingerprint on a glass. The Roosevelt's long history of sorrow, secrecy, and spectacle made it a prime candidate for the lingering energy, the kind that refuses to fade. But it's not just tragedy that invites the unexplained. Some say the Roosevelt was built on land already charged with spiritual unrest. Long before it rose 12 stories above Hollywood Boulevard, the area had deep ties to Native American land. And with so many parts of California, development came with displacement, sometimes violent, but always disruptive. If you listen close enough, some believe you can still hear the echoes from even before the hotel's time. Layers of history stacked on top of each other like the floors of the building itself. Renovation is also known to stir things up. Not just dust, but energy. At the Hollywood Roosevelt, that idea proved all too real. All the walls were stripped to the base, and the original features unearthed. Guests and staff began noticing changes, unexplainable ones. Temperatures dropped in sun-drenched hallways, the sounds of footsteps pacing above, even when nobody was checked into the rooms. Lights flickering in patterns as if communicating, elevators moving between floors with no passengers, and TVs turning on by themselves. And then there's the mirrors. One of the most reported phenomena at the Roosevelt involves its mirrors, especially the large, ornate ones that date back to the hotel's early days. Guests have claimed to see fleeting figures behind them, shadowy outlines, cold spots that linger near the glass. Some say the mirrors are gateways, not just reflections, but recordings, holding on to its energy, memories, spirits. One mirror in particular became infamous. It hung in a suite on the upper floors and was reportedly responsible for a disturbing number of sightings. After decades of complaints and particularly chilling photographs, this mirror was quietly removed. But where did it go, and what exactly did it reflect that haunted so many people? The Roosevelt's long hallways carry more than sounds. Guests often report hearing soft whispers, sometimes their names, other times inaudible murmurs, as if a conversation is just taking place just out of reach. Children's laughter has been heard echoing through the empty corridors as well, even when no children are staying on the floor. The sounds of a party, music, laughter, clinking glasses, float from rooms locked and unoccupied. In the Blossom Ballroom, motion detectors have been seen triggering with no one around. Security footage sometimes shows dancing shadows, moving as if to music no one else can hear. Many who stay at the Roosevelt describe sudden waves of dread. Some say it's like they're being watched. Others say it's like they're being followed. Cold spots are also common, not gentle drafts, but bone-deep chills that stop guests in their tracks. In some rooms, they even get electronic malfunctions. Batteries drain, clock stops, and animals? Dogs reportedly refuse to enter certain suites, growling at empty corners or cowering at nothing at all. Psychics and paranormal investigators claim that the energy of the Roosevelt isn't just residual, it's intelligent, aware, and active. There are some places in the hotel that seem to breathe on their own. Doors that close softly, beds that appear to have been sat on right after being made. Some guests have awoken in the middle of the night to feel of someone sitting at the edge of their bed. Others have seen impressions in the mattress, as if someone just stood up and walked away, and yet no one is there. So many experiences, so many stories, all pointing to one thing: the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel is much alive in ways that we can't explain. But the real question is, who or what is still there? The Hollywood Roosevelt has been a sanctuary for stars, but some of them, it seems, may have never left. One of the most famous spirits said to haunt the Roosevelt is none other than Marilyn Monroe. She stayed at the hotel in the early days of her modeling career, often checked into a suite 1200. Inside that room once hung a full-length mirror. The same one guests and staff claimed reflected Marilyn's image long after her death. They say she appears briefly, a soft glow behind the glass, adjusting her makeup, smiling before vanishing entirely. That mirror was eventually removed, but not before dozens of sightings were documented. The room itself is still active. Downstairs, near the hotel's public areas, another spirit has made himself known. A man dressed in a 1930s style tuxedo and fedora. He's been seen standing silently near the hotel's lobby piano, disappearing when approached. Some say he's an actor who died just before achieving fame. Others believe he is a residual spirit trapped in a loop, reliving a single glamorous night that never truly ended. One of the more active spirits at the hotel is Montgomery Clift, the Oscar-nominated actor known for his roles in From Here to Eternity and A Place in the Sun. Clift stayed in room 928 while preparing for a film, pacing the floors, running his lines late into the night. Guests who stay in that room still reportedly hear whispering voices, heavy footsteps, and overwhelming feeling of being watched. Some even say they felt a cold hand on their shoulder while alone in bed. They can even hear the sounds of a trombone being played often in this room, possibly Clift practicing late into the evening. Room 928 is now widely considered one of the most haunted locations in the hotel. But not all the spirits here are celebrities. One of the most heartbreaking stories comes from a guest who encountered a young girl named Caroline. She has been seen wearing a blue dress, wandering the halls, especially near the pool area, asking for her mother. Witnesses say she appears as real as any child, until she simply isn't there anymore. Some believe Caroline drowned in the pool during the 1950s. Others think she may have gotten lost in the hotel and never found her way out. Either way, her spirit is said to be kind, but profoundly sad. Some guests report an unseen presence crawling into bed beside them in the middle of the night, pressing into the mattress, brushing their skin with icy fingertips. One woman described waking up to find an indentation on the pillow next to her, still warm. Was it Clift, the man in the fedora, or someone else entirely? There are spirits with no names, no biographies, no headlines, just impressions. A woman sobbing in the hallway between 2 and 3 a.m. A man scream heard only once inside a locked, empty room. An unseen figure that walks the halls whistling a tune that no one recognizes and no one can forget. These aren't the famous, these are the forgotten. The energies left behind by lives interrupted, by pain, by fear, by silence. And together they make up a permanent guest list of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. The stars might shine outside, but inside, the shadows take center stage. The Hollywood Roosevelt stands as both a monument to the Golden Age and a mausoleum for it. Its walls have heard laughter, secrets, sobs, and silence. Every corridor echoes with stories left unfinished. Spirits of fame, of tragedy, of longing, wandering quietly, long after the camera stopped rolling. To Marilyn, forever gazing into the mirror. To Montgomery Clift, still pacing room 928. To Caroline, searching for her mother in the glow of the pool. To the nameless whispers, the unseen watchers, and the forgotten guests, good night for now. Despite its haunted reputation, or perhaps because of it, the Hollywood Roosevelt remains a fully functional luxury hotel. It has undergone multiple renovations, including one from the 2000s that restored its vintage glamour while modernizing its amenities. The Blossom Ballroom now hosts weddings. The pool glows under the palm trees once again, and guests check in, often unaware of who might be sharing the room with them. It's hosted everything from fashion shows to film festivals, and some of the world's most influential creatives continue to walk its storied halls. But if you ask the right person, a housekeeper, a night manager, or even a particularly sensitive guest, and you'll hear the truth. The hotel may have changed its curtains, but it's never changed its spirits. Some buildings are just that, a building. Others are vessels. And the Hollywood Roosevelt, it's a living relic. A breathing archive of stardust and sorrow. It asks nothing of you but to respect its silence, feel its cold spots, and listen closely. Because if you stay just long enough, it might just speak back. Thank you for joining me on this chilling walk through the past. If you like this episode of Echoes of the Past, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and comment other locations that you would like me to cover in future episodes. If you haven't been scared enough, my new book, A Perfect Journey Through Villainous Eyes, is available right now on Amazon. But that is going to do it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, thank you for spending a little bit of your evening here with me.